Thank you, Mr. Chair, and members of the committee. And I didn't realize President Doherty was going to be here, so I did want to just thank you all, first of all, for taking this issue up. It's a very important issue, something that we've been working on for long before I was a firefighter. And I got hired in 1995. As a matter of fact, I got hired with President Doherty at the Sterling Heights Fire Department. And over the many years, we've seen many firefighters get cancer. And it's a very difficult thing to deal with. And I think all of us here have probably had someone in our lives that have gotten cancer. But you know, the idea of getting cancer from your job is almost overwhelming. And oddly enough, you know, firefighters, they're a pretty gregarious bunch. And just about everybody I know that's gotten cancer has kind of laughed it off. Oh, I got cancer. I got to get it treated. But you know, they always had that certain look in their eyes. You know, that rather hollow look. We think of one of my coworkers, Chris Slazak. Chris's wife was a police officer. She had a great job, great paycheck, great benefits, dual income, and she quit her job so she could stay home and raise her kids. Traditional, strong family values. She wanted to be there for her kids while Chris went out and worked. And then Chris ends up with not just one, but 2 different forms of leukemia at the same time. How he's alive today, I have no idea. But the idea of losing her husband and the crushing debt that comes along with paying for cancer was almost overwhelming. You know, I'm not a veteran myself, but I sit on the Military and Veterans Affairs Committee, my first term on policy and this term on appropriations. You know, we make a commitment to our veterans. This isn't about owing anybody anything, but this is about making a commitment to the people who protect us. If you look at what's happened in this country with homegrown terrorism, the Boston Marathon bombing, a number of the shootings, who's always first on scene? It's our local cops and firefighters. We need to make sure that these folks know that we have their back, and their families know that we have their back. And in closing, I'll say thank you so much to Senator Hotel and everybody who has championed this cause. But you know, keep in mind the term firefighter is all-encompassing. We don't just fight fires. We do hazardous materials, and we just had a train derail in Kansas the other day, and fortunately it was only a passenger train, but it had been full of hazardous materials. Firefighters would have been the first ones on the scene to handle that. We do collapse rescue, trench rescue, and as we know from what's going on with Flint, there's not only lead in the water, but there's lead in the ground. So firefighters come into contact with hazardous materials constantly, and it's not just from fighting fires. And it's really bad to go to work one day and then find out a couple years later that you've gotten cancer from something that you came in contact with. So again, ladies and gentlemen of this committee, I cannot thank you enough for taking up this bill. I cannot thank you enough for championing it. Again, Senator Tell, I cannot thank you enough for your passion on this, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.